Welcome back to the Dialing for Dollars podcast, where we talk about life insurance, sales, and everything that happens between the first dial and the death benefit. I'm Corey Mitchell. My co host, Ty Somerville, is out this week. Together, we sit down with fellow agents, top performers, entrepreneurs, and industry leaders to unpack what actually works to help new agents win faster. Today, we're joined by Richelle Jessey with Jessey Life Agency. Richelle, welcome to the show.
Thanks so much for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Yeah, that's fantastic. I saw you on with our upline Dana Neeson a couple weeks ago on her Empower Life Group channel, and you did a segment kind of on 10 things you wish new agents knew. And so I thought that was a great reason to have you come on the show because that's what the whole show is about, is trying to help new agents win faster. And so yeah, I just wanted to kind of jump in with that. What's like your what's well, let's talk about first your background. Like, how did you get here in the first place? What brought you into life insurance?
Oh gosh, yeah. So I have had a journey to getting to life insurance. I've my career path since college has just been a wild ride. I went to college for social work, and I actually was in the field in social work for my senior year. Before I graduated, I knew I wasn't going to do social work. Like I'd already decided from my internship that like that was going to be a no-go. So I just kind of took some random jobs right out of college because I had to make money. I worked at Yale doing some research stuff. I ended up working in the office as like a surgery assistant or scheduler for one of Yale's departments. Then I kind of got linked up with HR, went into an HR career for about 7 years. And while I was there, I got a coaching certification and was like, okay, I'm going to have a coaching business and this is what I want to do. So I actually did that. I left my job and had my coaching business for about 4 years. Really enjoyed that, but kind of got burnt out just because you have to do everything, the marketing, the lead generation, the sales aspect, the actual client delivery. So I was at a bit of a standstill and I was like, I don't even know what my next step would be. And I saw someone that I was connected to that I knew from the coaching space talk about life insurance. And I was like, never in a million years would I expect her to be doing life insurance because she's very bubbly. And, I'm like, to me, life insurance meant like old men in suits and very stuffy and very, like just not like a typical, not like her and not like myself and so many other people I know that do this now. So I asked her about it and she was like, "Oh, I love it." And she had exited coaching. So I was like, "You know what? I'll try to get licensed. I'll see how it goes. And if I pass, I'll give it a shot." And I did pass. And I just kind of rolled right into it. I ended up stopping my coaching business about 6 months in and doing this full time since then, about a year and a half ago.
Okay. Have you been with with Lasting Mark for the whole time, or have because you
No,
just
I
came over, right?
actually I came from another IMO that I was with for about a year, and then 6 months ago I came to Lasting Mark. I found Dana on the Cody Askins Ultimate Agent Challenge, and
Okay.
I saw her coaching style, and you could tell she's so knowledgeable. So I
Yeah.
had already been kind of like, I'm not sure if I want to stay here where I am, and I was looking. I got on her opportunity call like 2 days later and then was on the phone with her the next day, and that was it. And I've been here since.
Awesome. Yeah, we came over about the same time. I was the captive agent for a year doing multi-line P&C and commercial and ag and all this stuff and securities
Oh.
licensing. And I couldn't do any one thing good enough to know all of them. And it was too much. So I came over, Veterans Day was my first day. So probably around the same time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. First or second week of November, so definitely.
Yeah. Yeah. Awesome. So what's your top tip? I know we're going to go through a bunch of them here, but like, what's your top tip for new agents coming in? They don't know anything about the business, don't know what they don't know. I mean, there's so much information. Where do you start?
Yeah, I think the first, like my ultimate top tip, and it's funny, it was like the number one tip that I shared on Dana's show is when we enter this industry, and I think this is true for any sales role, regardless of life insurance sales or not, when you are in that position, especially if it's your first time being in sales, your mindset is like you're so attached to the outcome, right? Like you get someone on the phone or on Zoom and you're like, oh, I hope they buy. Like no matter what it is, whether it's a life insurance policy or a service or a product, because and again, especially if this is your first sales role and your first time being commission only, you're thinking like, I need to make money. So I
Yeah.
really hope this person buys whatever I'm selling to them right now. And my number one tip has been like, don't be attached to your outcome, be attached to their outcome, no matter what that is. Because when you go into any type of a sales call thinking, oh, I hope they buy, I need this sale, I need a check to pay my mortgage or my rent, you enter that conversation with such a different energy
Hmm.
and it's palpable. Like they feel that,
Oh
right? Like
yeah.
you're kind of sitting on the edge of your seat, like you're like, oh, like you need this because of this and all these things, and you talk too much and you are a little pushy. Whereas if you go into the call with the thought, and this is how I kind of phrase it for life insurance in particular, is when I get on a call with someone, my goal and the expectation I set for myself is I just want to help them figure out if they have a problem or not.
Yeah.
Do you need this? Not everybody does. Some people, after some digging and discovery, you're like, you and that person are both like, wow, you're really well off. Like
Yeah.
you've crossed your T's and dotted your I's. You have a million assets and policies. And this is a nice to have, not a must have for you. And that's a great
Sure.
feeling too, to see that relief from the person.
Hmm.
So either you give them that validation and they walk away and maybe they refer someone to you because they're like, wow, I really trust you and I appreciated this process.
Hmm.
Or you help them really identify, like, hey, you know what? There is a bit of a gap here. Would you be open to seeing what some solutions might be to help you close this gap for your family and put that protection in place? And if they move forward, then that's great, but you know you did it with the best intentions.
Yeah. It's not always completely obvious what their need is because some people don't have a retirement, they don't have savings, they don't have any way to pay for their funeral. So that's obvious. When they have some retirement income and they have a small policy that would take care of their funeral expenses, but yet they're still curious about adding more coverage, they still have a why. And your approach, I agree, you have to still try to understand what their why is or what they're actually trying to solve. It's
Yeah.
it's incredible. So where do you draw the line? Because I'm sure you've seen you have to sometimes help people get out of their own way. They have this obvious problem, and this is the most simple solution for them where they don't have a coverage, they don't have a plan B. They're going to leave their family with a bill, and they don't want that to happen. And they can afford it, they have it, but they can't commit to saying yes. And where does that line draw from? You seem like you're doing okay, or this is your outcome is to think about it. My outcome is to help you get out of your own way. Where's that line? Like, you know what I mean? Did that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah. And I think, it's really comes down to doing discovery so well and asking really good questions. And I think that in discovery, that's where a lot of people are afraid to dig into those questions because
Hmm.
they hear someone say, oh, I have retirement or I have a policy. And they go, okay, check, check. And instead of digging in to really say, like, okay, like when someone says they have a policy, that to me is like, I'm like, yes, because they already value the product. They
Hmm.
have something in place. They've been through the application process. They know they have to give a social security number and banking and all of that stuff, right?
Yeah.
So you've already got all those objections out of the way. What I really like to challenge people to do to, again, really understand for myself and them, is this a necessity, is assigning everything a job. So if
Hmm.
you have a policy, great, Corey, what'd you get that policy for in particular?
Hmm.
Because sometimes agents will hear, oh, I have $50,000, and they're like, oh, great, never mind. But no, it's like they might want that $50,000 to go to their kids or their spouse for a very specific reason that
Yeah.
doesn't even cover final expenses or the mortgage or whatever product you're selling.
Hmm.
So I like to give everything a job to make it crystal clear that there is still a gap. So, I've had people say, "Oh, well, I have 50,000." Okay, great. What was that put in place for? Well, I wanted to cover my grandkids' college or, at least a year or 2 years, whatever it is. Okay, perfect. And then when we get farther along, if they're like, well, I'll use that 50,000, I'll be like, well, let's go back a second because you had told me that you wanted to use that 50,000 for Kiara's, college tuition nest egg.
Hmm.
Did that change since we talked about that earlier? And then like, ah, well, no, okay, that's true. So it's kind of
Yeah.
like when you do the discovery so well, as Dana will say, and you really dig in and you give every asset and every policy a name and a job, bring them right back to that again to just really help them establish the gap because we can tell them they have a gap all day. They don't want us to tell them. They want
Yeah.
us to help them uncover it so that they're like, yeah, okay, I do need this and I really see now because you helped me paint that picture.
Yeah. That's awesome. Have you ever used the dime method for helping them discover what the job is for each of their policies or what every dollar they have? Like where you have,
No, what is that?
so D is, debts. If they're trying to pay off a debt, income is, or I is for income if they're trying to replace an income. M is for mortgage if they're trying to, pay off a mortgage or make sure that their partner can stay in the house for X amount of time before they have to transition. And then E would be education. So if you're going to put the kids through college, you can assign, if they don't have an idea what they want the life insurance to do, you can start doing those. And then you can actually add, final expense into it as well, just to help come up with a dollar amount that is logical to them because they want to be logically certain about their emotional decision, right?
Oh,
So
I love that. That's such
yeah,
a good one.
yeah. There's another one I think I called. There's another one we used to use where I was at. It's called Life. I forget what it was because I'm not there anymore. So yeah, but it's
Dime
a
is a
great,
good one. It's an easy one to remember too.
yeah, yeah. It's a really weird dichotomy though because they the harder you work, the better you do. But the harder you work, when we picture hard working hard, we picture pushing forward and really going for the sale and cranking on things. But it's just the opposite. You really have to kind of lean back and be okay with them saying they're okay, right? It's the weirdest thing because the harder you lean into it, the worse it is for them, and the more they push back, and the less you lean into it and kind of let things come to you, the better it
Mhm.
works. It's
And I think that's where we differentiate ourselves as sales individuals, right? Because people are so used to the pushy, like, no, you need this. You said you need this. You fit like all these things. And they're
yeah,
like, and when we lean in, they lean back, right? Like
yeah,
that's like exactly what's happening. So when we're trained the same way, when we do the opposite, they start leaning in more because
yeah,
we lean back a little and they're like, wait, like maybe I do need this, or like, oh, that's a good question. Like, let me actually think about that a little. They're just not, it's such a pattern interrupt.
yeah,
And I think I love it because it makes the job easier for us. I don't want to be pushy. I
yeah.
hate that pushy tactic. So to not have to do that and have it have that opposite effect of what pushy does is like perfect.
Yeah, I love that little the track where you ask if they have some other option to pay for this, and they say, "Yeah, my kids can just take care of it." And you say, "Well, why don't you just let them?" Like you almost take it away, and then they lean into why they want to, and now they're selling you. It's yeah, you just lean back and ask them like, "Well, why not?" It's great. It's so effective. Like, why haven't you done this already? So
And there's such a psychology of making someone say something out loud because we think things all day long. We have
uh,
so many thoughts go through our head that we don't even retain all of our thoughts. So when we have to verbalize something because somebody asked us a question,
yeah,
now that's going to stick with us a little bit more. When we say it out loud, like it becomes very real and very tangible. And you can't really take those words back once you say them out loud. No
yeah,
matter how hard you might try, you're like, you put them out there and now you're like, you kind of have to sit with it now.
yeah. That's a hard thing for new agents to understand is that unless they say it, they don't believe it because you can assume all you want, but that's not going to get them any closer to their goal. They have to say it out loud and verbalize it so that it's out in the universe now. And now people are too proud to retract their statements, so they'll stick with it. So
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
very cool. So your next one you had on there on Dana's episode is when your income grows when you grow. What did you mean by that?
yeah. So, somebody, and gosh, I can't remember who it was that told me this. It's one of my favorite sayings. It's that we are truly in the business of personal development, and we also just so happen to sell life insurance. Like
Yeah,
that's like on the side of growing ourselves. And the context behind that is again there's you can't help but grow in this industry in any kind of a sales role because sales when you're 100% commission based it will expose every underdeveloped characteristic you have. Whether you want it to or not, it doesn't matter. It's going to happen. It
Yeah.
will expose if you have trouble being consistent, if you are, not spending time training and you're falling off of your schedule. It will just really expose so many things. Even
Hmm.
just patience. How
Hmm.
many agents do you know that will come in for 1 or 2 weeks and then they're like, ah, this doesn't work.
Oh
And
yeah.
you and I are like, we've been doing this for not a long time, but a while now to know like there's ups and downs. And when you're starting, especially, you've got to give it that time to gain some traction. So if you're not investing as much time into growing yourself as you are into investing in leads and dialers and the systems, you're going to fall short. You're not going to enjoy the process, and you're probably not going to stick this out long enough to see success because you're not allowing yourself to uncover what needs growth and then to actually work on those things. And I think it comes also with just having self-awareness. Like
Yeah.
when I became an entrepreneur and I left my job, I think I told the story on Dana's show too. It was like, I was like, oh, I don't need a schedule. This is perfect. I don't have to have a schedule anymore. I get to just do things as I want. And after like a couple of weeks, first of all, my sales were down. I
Yeah.
was in consulting at that point and coaching. My sales were down. All of my activity was way down because I got rid of the discipline of having a schedule, and
Hmm.
I had to like have that awareness of, okay, what did I stop doing? I stopped holding myself accountable to doing the activity and having a schedule, and now this is the effect of that. So
Hmm.
I need to now grow myself back into that person that can be accountable to time frames and having objectives every day and doing those things so I can continue being an entrepreneur and not go back to that job that I don't want to be in.
Yeah. I love how you said that. It's like it's the this job sales in general just exposes all your weaknesses and really makes you become self-aware. And my buddy Ian has a has adapted this like wholeheartedly. His whole day is spent just being self-aware, self-identifying, limiting beliefs, and then reprogramming and trying to change his outcome on or outlook on all the different things. Because if you talk too fast, you cut people off, you don't listen well, you don't show up on time, you don't stay in the saddle and dial, you take no for an answer, even though it's the first time they said it or whatever. There's so many things that it exposes about you, and you have to get better. And it's so important that you're looking at I've never looked at myself more, and I don't think I've ever wanted to quit more frequently than I have in this job, but I still love doing it. And I know this is where I want to be, but man, it really makes you focus on being a better version of you to show up. Even executing the script, talking the script. If you can say the same words, but if you butcher it because you're not smooth, you're not confident, whatever, it doesn't matter. You have to fix that first. And so it's yeah, I love how you said that. It's all about self-development and personal growth because that's what makes you better. And have you seen it in other areas of your life besides just sales where your personal development has improved relationships or other areas?
Yeah, honestly, even in like my corporate job that I had before this, when I started there, I was 24 and I basically was told, okay, I was in human resources, so they were like, you're a human resources business partner for this group in manufacturing. And I was so excited. I walked in there and it was a room full of like 12 like men that were 50 and older. And they're seeing me coming in as like this 24-year-old. They're like, who the heck are you? And I remember walking out of that first meeting sweaty because I was like, oh my gosh, I was so nervous. And I went back to my office and I shut the door and I was like teary eyed and I was like, I'm never going to be successful at this. They don't respect me. They don't whatever. And then like I went home and I gave myself some time to reflect and I was like, well, they don't even know who I am yet, right? They are seeing me for the first time. They know nothing about me. So even in that moment when I was like, I could have transferred to another department because I was in like a rotational program
Mhm.
and I came close and I was like, no, I'm sticking this out and I'm going to learn something from this. And what that challenged me to do was I couldn't go in there guns blazing with people double my age because again, they have way more experience. They wouldn't respect me if I tried to start demanding things. So I went in with a very relationship focused attitude where I was like, before I do anything, I want to get to know each of these individuals personally, professionally, and I want to serve before I make any requests or before I try to ask them to do something or, give them policies that they need to start, upholding their employees to. And that worked so well. I still talk to many of those guys still to this day.
Yeah.
Um, and that, again, it's just not having so much ego to know like I need to grow in these areas. Which do I prioritize and how do I do it? And yeah, that's just another example. I'm sure there's a million.
Yeah.
Again, because as I'm sure you have a million too, that like when you start being self-aware, you can't help but notice the areas where you're like, ooh, I got some work to do there.
Yeah. Yeah. It's so much. And I have found myself, whenever I have like an objection or something like that, my first instinct has always been to freeze up and not know what to do. And then some gumble mess comes out of my mouth. But since I've been working on just staying poised and not reacting, but responding, that even comes through when I'm talking with my family and when they're getting upset, feel like I'm able to stay in the pocket better and be more attuned to what they're actually saying instead of the reaction. It's it's incredible. So yeah, I would completely agree with you. Your income grows when you grow.
Yeah, yeah.
So uh, um, the next one I love. Successful people don't grow alone. Roger Short from Lasting Work always says success happens in community, failure happens in isolation. What are your thoughts on that? Or why was that one of your top 10 for new agents to learn or to know?
Yeah, and I love Roger's quote too. He says it better than I do, honestly, which is, I can only he could say anything better than me too. He's such an amazing person. He's such a strong leader. But in saying that, honestly, Corey, and you probably experienced this too, maybe early on in doing this, but it is so easy to isolate yourself here.
Hmm. Yeah.
It is, especially like, and I use the reference that I even live alone. So not only do I, do telesales where I'm on the phone all day, I also live alone. So if I didn't find a community
Hmm.
like what we have with Empower, where we have Zoom rooms with cameras on, we have Slack with messages, we have breakout rooms, team meetings or like trainings and team meetings every day.
Hmm.
I would not have been in this industry for more than a month.
Yeah.
I would, I, there's no way.
No, you can be alone for a while. And when you have a bad day, it's the first thing you want to do is just kind of pull back a little bit or a bad experience. And sometimes I find myself looking at the Slack and all the success people are having. I'm like, I can't even engage because my mind is not there. But I still try to stay in the Zoom room because maybe somebody will message me and it'll be the right next thing I need to hear. Or I
Mhm.
love to be in the rooms where we can be unmuted. So the quiet dial rooms are great, but the silence is deafening, right? So I like to be in there. We can unmute, have a conversation while you're still dialing. And if you get a call, stay unmuted and let somebody else listen to it, or mute yourself and just go about your business. So there's ways to turn the sound up, but you have to be around people. People need people.
They do. And even like when we go to in-person events, like conference, it's so nice to be like, oh, I can't wait to meet so and so in
Yeah.
person and I can't wait to like share a meal with this individual. And like you said too, even if you're having a hard day, like to have a couple people, even just a few where you could just reach out and be like, hey, like today kind of stunk. Like
Yeah.
I need you to give me like some words of wisdom or some encouragement. I even love going in the live dial room and watching some of the top producers live dial because it really normalizes the hang-ups and the don't ever call me agains and the objections because like you said when you see Slack blowing up especially on an off day for you
Yeah.
sometimes it's like am I the only one that's having a rough day today, am I the only one that can't make a sale today? And then
Yeah.
you hear them get hung up and it's like and it's funny because I tell them too, I'm like, I'm not cheering because you got hung up on, I'm just cheering that this is normal. Like
Yeah.
that's what I'm celebrating, that it doesn't matter your skill set or your experience, those things are going to happen. And when you involve yourself in a community and you lean into it and take advantage of it, it will only propel your success.
Yeah. I think equally as important too is when you're able to give back and pour into somebody else that needs it because you're not always, when you're winning, people start reaching out to you. What are you doing? What's your lead? What's your script? All the kind of stuff, right? And we'll get into that in a second. But when you see somebody's kind of struggling a little bit and they're not finding their way, listen, man, let's just jump in another room. Let's chat about it, see if I can help out. Because sometimes you're too close to it to see what's really wrong. And
Yeah.
it's yeah, I love being I've never, when I'm in my last job, I was in a agency where there was 10 other people. They weren't in my physical business, but I was just right outside the door. I felt alone all the time, like I was on an island. I come here into my dungeon basement and I log in and I'm never alone. It's
Yeah.
fantastic. So,
Hmm.
and I love doing stuff like this podcast because I get to talk to people and it's
Yeah.
it's always fun and learn more about things. So, very cool. So, you kind of your next one on your list was building a network of trusted referral partners, and that's a little bit outside of the telesales realm, but kind of that's kind of where I also came from. So, like, what's your advice for new agents in that regard?
Yeah, it's funny because if I hadn't done consulting and coaching before this, I probably wouldn't have thought about doing this type of activity, like getting out there in the community and building referral partners. But because I was already doing that, it felt like a very easy way to segue my network into life insurance. Because, life insurance is something that so many people can benefit from. So, and I think too, for new agents, it can really help supplement lead cost in the
Yeah.
beginning. Because we know that can be a challenge depending on whether someone's still working, if they have a nest egg for this to ramp up or not. And what I do is I will go to a couple of networking events a month.
Hmm.
And BNI, which is Business Networking International, it's all over the country. Every city basically has a BNI chapter.
Hmm.
And the cool thing about BNI is you don't even have to join a chapter because there's a cost that comes with that. But if you join a chapter, there's one person per professional seat in each group. So, like, you
Hmm.
would be the only life insurance agent in that chapter, and you pass referrals to each other. But even if you're not in a chapter, you can still go to their events and meet a lot of really cool people. So I'll go to two a month. They're not always BNI ones. Sometimes I'll just kind of look, I'll just Google, networking events in the area that I'm in and find some cool ones with different age ranges, like young professionals, and then some that are, of a like, more targeting 55 plus, etc. And I'll go and really just make connections and not pitch people, but just really have open conversations about what you do, how you help people, investing a lot into understanding what they do. And then I always like to set up like a coffee chat with somebody, or typically like 3 to 5 people is my goal at each one.
Yeah.
And then really set it up right then and there so it's on each other's calendars, and then go and
Hmm.
have more of a conversation if you click with that person.
Yeah.
And at this point, I have like a divorce attorney, because if you think about when people get divorced, sometimes life insurance policies need to be reconfigured. And
Hmm.
I had someone who's like, no, I actually need one now because of our agreement with the divorce settlement. So
Yeah.
that I've had estate attorneys, when they're going through estate planning, they decide to refer somebody to me. PNC insurance agents that are just like, I don't like to write life insurance, so
Yeah.
please take this. And gosh, who else? Oh, realtors, when they sell a home, somebody wants some mortgage protection. The
Yeah.
funny thing is that when, and if I'm sure you've done this, Corey, where you buy any type of property and you get all these mailers, right? Like,
Hmm.
oh, you need this insurance and and it kind of looks scary. Like the
Yeah.
flyers are like big warnings. Like when I bought my condo years ago, I called my dad and I was like, do I need this thing? And he was like, no, throw it away. But it looked so terrifying. I'm like, it was like, this is your last warning. And I was like, oh my gosh, am I going to lose my home? Did I miss something? But it was just about mortgage protection.
Yeah.
So people will call their realtors and say, hey, I got this in the mail. What is this? And that's a really good opportunity for realtors to be like, oh, you don't have to call that number. This is what it's about. And I actually have someone that's I really trust and that's in my network, let me connect you with them. And they'll do like a three-way text with me. And
Oh,
that way I
nice.
can reach out to that person. So yeah, it's really identifying other professionals that will have some kind of a touch point with your client, whether it's a final expense, a mortgage protection, even I've even started talking to um, gosh, why am I blanking on the name of them? Doulas and people that help with like birthing because
Oh,
children's policies, right? Like,
yeah,
a children's policy is a great another great product that we have. So just identifying your different populations that you work with and who else touches them at some point,
sure.
and developing, and you don't need a lot. Like I don't have a bunch of realtors and a bunch of PNC. Like having even two per industry can get you a couple, maybe 2 to 5 referrals a month, which is what I average. And it definitely helps with the offsetting the lead costs, and they also send referrals. Like one of the women that was a referral to me referred her parents for long-term care insurance to me, which I got to put them through the Elevate program here. So it's a cool way to connect with more people locally, serve them, and also it's free leads. So
Yeah.
they're really warm to begin with, and you didn't pay for them. So it's
Free
a great opportunity.
free leads. That's the whole thing, right? I wish
Yeah.
there, yeah, I wish the leads were free. Well, those are, but I wish there were more sources. Have you ever done any with commercial realtors who are working with businesses, brokering businesses and things like that for like looking at key man insurance and buy sell agreements and things like that? Have you ever done, do you have some of those in your network as well?
I have some realtors that do both residential and commercial, but I
Okay.
haven't gotten any referrals for the commercial side, like what you were just saying. I honestly haven't touched on it much because I feel like personally I need to grow my expertise in that area and how to handle that type of a policy, but it is a great opportunity.
Yeah. Yeah.
It
There's,
really is.
it's amazing all the different avenues that it's just life insurance. Somebody dies, somebody gets paid, but there are so many different uses for it to and purposes. Like you said earlier, there's so many different jobs you can give to it, and it's yeah, great to have a source for those leads for all those things because we all talk to just final expense for the most part on the phone, and they're not always the best use of our time. So
Mhm.
that's good. Um, I love your next one. The business is simple. It's not easy, but it also doesn't have to be that hard. Like
It's like a word
it
salad.
it is like we have a saying on in Sniper, our team, they me call person, me make sale. Like it's that easy, but we overcomplicate it so much.
Yeah. Yeah,
What?
and that's exactly like and it's funny because as I typed this out, as I was preparing for Dana's show, I was like, it sounds so clunky. So I'm like, let me break this phrase down. Like the business model is so simple.
Yeah.
Like especially if you want to just start as being a producer and you're not trying to build an agency, you just want to focus on sales. There's really a few things you have to do. Like you need to have people to talk to, whether that's buying leads, door knocking, doing the referrals, whatever that is. You need people to talk to, and then you need to talk to those people. And
Hmm.
then you probably need to train a little bit. Like those are like three core things. Find people, talk to people, train,
Yeah.
and continue increasing your skill.
Hmm.
And yeah, there's some nuances in each of those, but when I look back to like when I was doing consulting and coaching, there was so much to do. Email marketing, social media, AI DMs, webinar, like it was almost like I was up every night just with my brain swirling of like all the things that I'm still not doing.
Yeah.
Whereas here it's like, do that activity and just rinse and repeat it every day.
Yeah.
And you're gonna get the results. So it's simple, but where it comes in where it's not easy is the skill development needs to happen, right? You don't just pick up phones and say, "Oh, Corey, you inquired. Cool. Here's the product. Let's
Yeah.
let's fill out the application," right? Like there's a skill to selling, and that's what the not easy part is you need to be willing to identify the areas that you have to work on, and then you need to dig in and work on those areas if you want to get better so that you don't have to dial 1,000 dials
Yeah.
a day and work 12, 14 hours a day just to get like one sale in. A lot of people start there and there's nothing wrong with that. But if you want to lessen your time and increase your sales, the skill development has to come. And that doesn't always come quickly or easily. But the more you stick with it and you bite it off in chunks, the better or the faster you're going to see the results. Um, but yeah, and then the last part where it doesn't have to be that hard is you're right, we do overcomplicate it. We know the things we need to do, but then I think we think of all the other things we'd rather do than that thing, and we focus on those because that it just seems more fun or it seems easier. So
Yeah.
even if we know the things we really need to do, and I've been guilty of this too, I'll be like, oh, but I kind of want to do those things. So like maybe I'll do that, and then I'll
Yeah.
come back to this if I have time.
Yeah. And when you have a down day and you see somebody else just crushing it, like when Ashton's first month over here, he's not new to the business, but he $102,000 in his first 30 days. And you're like, what? There must be some silver bullet. There must be something
Yeah.
that I don't know. What is the deal? So you do more training, you do more, you look at different lead sources, look at different ways to engage them. How do I set more appointments? How should I go appointment and then close, or should I just do one call close? That like you can overthink this so hard. And I've gotten in the trap of overtraining and then getting confused by all the different things. And then on a call, it would show up in terms of like three or four different kinds of word tracks for the same I was so confused, and it's really just is that easy. It's what do you want? Can I help you? Why do you want it? What if you don't do it? Okay. Do you think this will work for you? All right. It's not hard, but at the same time, it's super difficult because I came in thinking I'll just take orders and I'll buy enough leads and the numbers game will just pay off. And it is not the case. You have to train. Do you still like role play and practice regularly, or how do you make sure you get better?
I do. And it's going off of like what you were just saying too. It's like I think a misconception in this industry especially is that leads don't mean these people are all ready to buy right now, right? Like we wish that was the case. But I
Yeah.
remember coming in, not to Lasting Mark, but to the previous IMO and being like, I think I bought like a pack of like 50 kind of oldish leads. They were maybe 4 to 6 months, and I was like so excited. And I'm going through the list, and it was like, hang up, no, no. And I'm like, the heck? Like, they all said they wanted this.
Yeah.
And even we see that happen with new leads too, where either they filled it out and maybe they didn't quite understand what they were filling out, or they got scared and they're like, no, I don't want it, never mind, because you called me now and never I don't know what I was doing. And so it happens. And I think Dana does a good job, and Roger and the whole Lasting Mark team of being like, listen, like leads are just opportunities.
Hmm.
They really are. So, like, we can't go into the expectation that all these people are dying to have this put in place right now. No pun intended.
Yeah.
Like, they really want this, right? So, um, but yeah, in terms of skill growth, what I've done is I would try to focus on one training a day,
Hmm.
whether it was a training in Dana's whole archive of great stuff, or even going on YouTube and watching trainings that are even 15-minute, short clips of just a certain objection handling or a certain aspect of the call where someone's reviewing it or giving some tips. Like I love to do that. I would start my day with that just to feel a little like juiced up with like some new cool trick.
Yeah.
And I write it down too. And I love post-it notes. If you could see my desk, I have post-it notes all over. I've had a habit of like writing that one thing down and putting it like in front of me on a post-it note so I
Uh,
could try to in each call inject it somewhere if it made sense.
sure.
Sometimes it
Yeah.
doesn't, but that's what I would do. Role playing, in all honesty, Corey, I am not the best at because I've always felt like you need someone to do it, but you really don't. Like you
Yeah.
can easily say it out loud, practice your tonality, practice hearing an objection and then saying, rebutting right back with a question.
Mhm.
Um, I haven't gotten a good cadence of doing that. Is there something that you do when it comes to role playing in particular?
Yeah. There's a few of us that do 15, 20 minutes every morning. We just get together and it's like, what part do you want to work on? I want to work on the intro. So you run through the intro. They gave, we're always careful to not coach because we're all relatively new. We're not writing $50,000 a month. So we try to just give feedback on how it landed, not
Mm,
necessarily. what you should do better, because sometimes that's all you need. Like even if you were to record yourself doing your solo role plays, you can listen back and like, wow, when I said it, it sounded great, but when I hear it, it sounds super fast and choppy. Like it's so that's what we use. It's just a feedback board, not that necessarily. And then we always finish with like the an objection rapid fire. So I'll give an objection. I want to think about it, right? I'm not interested, and then give the rebuttal, and then pass it on to the next one. And it's just a good way to kind of train your nervous system to be prepared to answer with poise and not reaction. It's been very very helpful. We've been
Oh,
doing it
that's
for about a
awesome.
month, and it's been fantastic. So
That's
yeah.
awesome. Yeah. And again, leveraging the community, right? Like
Hmm.
finding some people that, have a shared common goal and want to help each other get better.
Yeah, yeah.
Nothing
And
better than
sometimes
that.
I'll pull guys in like just you can see they're struggling. Like, well, you know what? Just come join us. Just you know what? Take 15 minutes off the phone. It's not going to kill you, but
Mhm.
maybe there's something we can help you with. I don't know what it is, but yeah, it's so important to be able to be connected to these people for sure.
Yeah.
Um, so we kind of touched on this earlier, but having a schedule isn't constricting, but structure creates freedom. I love the way that's worded. What's your tips on that for new agents?
Yeah, and you're right. I did kind of lead in with that a little bit earlier, so I won't spend too much time on it. But I think that being an entrepreneur gives this illusion of freedom and time freedom. And I think there are aspects of time freedom in terms of how you use your time, but it does not mean you just have open days to kind of just wake up and figure out what you want to do, when you want to do it. And that's a mistake I had made early on when I first left my job was I would just wake up and like kind of flounder around through the day and be like, oh, I'll do that later. And what I realized was, and there's a saying, and I'm not going to say it well, but it's like when you allow a large amount of time to complete a task, it will take that task that full amount of time. So even like something like vacuuming, if you give yourself an hour to vacuum, it's going to take you an hour to vacuum. If you give
Yeah,
yourself 10 minutes, you can probably zip through your home and get it done in 10 minutes, right?
yeah,
So if you don't have a schedule where you're like, I'm dialing these hours, I'm gonna go run my errand or pick up my kids at this time, whatever it is, you're gonna flounder throughout the day and you're going to see yourself cleaning your whole house all day and doing all
yeah,
these things that you would maybe rather do in the moment than the things that you really should be doing in those moments. And as you know, Corey, days stack up here. Like 3 days can go by and you can be like, oh my gosh, like I haven't been on the phone enough and 3 days have gone by, and that's a lot of time in this space.
yeah,
So definitely have a schedule. It takes time, I think, to tweak it and really figure out what works best for you, but just always have one and tweak it as you go until you find a good flow and rhythm.
yeah. I totally agree. It's nice. There are days I give myself some grace to get up a little later or start later, maybe take a longer lunch. But I'm generally one of the first ones on in the morning, one of the last ones on at night. So I kind of make up for it in my opinion. But yeah, like you can absolutely. I've been guilty of starting something else and saying I'm just going to dial from like 2 to 5 today, and 2 o'clock rolls around like I don't want to dial now because I
Yeah.
didn't start my day with that intention. So what's the hardest part about doing that for you? Is it getting up and getting going, or is it staying on when you want to go do something else? What's the hardest part for you?
I think, and I know exactly what you mean, where when you save the dialing till later and then you're like, there's always tomorrow. And
Yeah.
I think that, for me, it's this getting started. And what I've done, and it sounds like you do this too, I have to get some dials in the morning.
Hmm.
I have to. If I
Yeah.
want to have a successful day with activity, I need to get dials in before the first training call of the day. If I get on Dana's call, which is 11 a.m. Eastern my time, and I haven't done any dials, when I get off the call, now it's noon and it's like momentum is gone. I'd
Yeah.
rather do all my errands and be like, tomorrow I'll do it. So
Yeah.
even 50 dials, which what using a dialer is not many, I just need to already see some numbers and I need to have had at least a couple people pick up, whether they stayed on or not. I need to have that momentum so that when that training call is done, it's just I get right back to it.
Yeah.
And there's like a saying, like, what is it like? eat the frog in the morning, or there's a lot of ways to say it, but like do the thing that you might know you put off a lot in the
Uh-huh.
morning to make sure you get it done, or at least get it in momentum to carry through the day.
Yeah, it's almost like you get off the train, you're done at noon. Now you're going to start dialing, but A, it's lunchtime. B, from 12 to 3 is about the worst time to call because nobody picks up the phone, and you basically start yourself in mud after being behind. So it gets so hard. So like by 5 o'clock, you're like, I'm done. When that's really when you should be fired back up again.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's wild. Um, so small improvements create massive results. That's so I don't want to say cliche, but brilliance in the basics, right? Do the fundamentals, master the the basics. What do you mean? Is that how that fits in? Is that what you mean by that, or what?
Yeah. And I think too, it's like, especially for new agents, there's so much to learn, especially when
Mhm.
it comes to like the script and having a conversation with someone. If you're new to telesales, I remember like shaking my first like couple of weeks on the phone. I'd be like, they'd answer, and I'm like, like, don't answer. I want you to answer, but don't.
Yeah,
Um, and you're shaky, and you're like, it's almost like you don't even remember how to have a conversation with somebody when you're
yeah,
brand new. So everything just feels clunky. And I think what a lot of new agents, myself included, we focus on is how do I get really good at all of it right away?
yeah,
And that's like impossible. When you have, especially if you don't have sales experience, like you need to focus on executing. Like that's another thing. Don't just train all day. You have to do the activity to get better at the activity.
yeah.
But really focus on the most pivotal areas that you need to focus on. And Dana did this with me, and it was so helpful. This was like months back when I was when I was new to Lasting Mark. I submitted a call review to her, and she sent it back. And the call was probably about 28 minutes long, so a little on the shorter side, not too bad. But she started the email with, "I only listened to the first 12 minutes. Here's your feedback." And she only focused on like the intro and discovery. And she
Yeah,
was like, I want to stop here because she goes, I didn't even listen to the rest. I just need you to focus on these like 5 bullet points that I
yeah,
mentioned below. And I kind of laughed. And I was also like, thank God, because she probably could have gone, that list could have turned into 15 to 20 bullets, but
yeah.
knowing to only focus on this was such a relief because it gave me an area to focus on
Mhm.
versus, hey, Richelle, here's all the stuff. Go get good at all of it right now. Like, you
Yeah.
can't do that. So I got really good at that. And then she was like, give yourself a couple weeks. And then when you feel you're ready, let me know and we'll listen to the rest of this call and go
Oh,
through that part.
okay.
So, and also I think the beauty of focusing on small improvements is you're able to track the improvements. When you try to fix everything,
Hmm.
even if your sales are getting better, you don't know which lever did it, right? You're like,
Yeah,
it might have been this, it might have been the 50 other things I did, but when you focus on like the intro or the discovery or any other part of the script and you start seeing more success, you're like, oh, I got that part now. Like I'm locked into that.
yeah,
I'm going to go there, and it gives you confidence, and then you move on to the next.
yeah. Very cool. When we do our role plays in the morning, I would say 85 to 90% of the role plays are just the intro and the intro objections. Because if you can get into the conversation, then you can just kind of settle down a little bit, just have a conversation. You still have your script, but it's a lot easier to follow a script when you know how to read it. Because I never forgot how to read so fast in my life when somebody gave me an objection I couldn't find, right? You're scrolling, you're scrolling, you're scrolling. I can't find it. I can't find it. What do I do? And then they hung up. So
Hmm.
it's,
Yeah. Oh, 100%. And it's so cool too because like just like for my own stats, like if I can get someone through the intro and keep them on, I have like a 72% quote rate. So like if I
oh,
can get them through that where they're like, "Oh yeah, okay, I good, I can talk." I know I'm quoting them. Like
nice.
more times, but like again, that data is so helpful because it's like I improved on those areas. Now I got to improve on like the closing, that one call close
Yeah.
aspect of it. Like that's
Yeah.
my area, right? But like tracking it and making those small improvements, I wouldn't have known that if I didn't get small feedback to implement to then get me to this point where now I know where I have to hone in on.
Gotcha. Are you using what leads are you using?
So I did Kaboom leads. I had a
Uh-huh.
3 month subscription that was January, because with, as you know, coming to a new IMO, all the contracting releases. So I had that
Hmm.
period of downtime. So I really didn't get going with leads here until mid-January. So
Okay.
mid-January through mid-April, I did Kaboom. I did 50 leads a week. And now I'm doing Scale My Social. I'm still a little new with them,
Mhm.
but I'm getting between 60 to 75 leads a week so far with them.
Okay. Yeah. So, I mean, so you're talking to higher intent people. I tried that, but I was still learning the process. So I wasn't getting very far into the conversations, and I had no skill set to handle opening objections, and I spent a lot of money on those. So now I've been going with like the cheap leads, age leads, whatever, and my skill set has gotten so much better because it's only $1 if I fail, and it's a potential sale if I get through. And I've gotten much better at the beginning of the phone calls doing that, and even the role plays. But it leads
You've
me
been
into like,
crushing the leads. You've been like, I mean, you're posting sales all the time with those leads now. So you've definitely you
yeah,
improved. And I also think you kind of found like your niche a little bit with those leads.
yeah. What's interesting is like those dollar leads from Closer Tech. I don't know if they're final expense, mortgage protection, general life, whatever they are. So I actually changed my intro altogether. So it's not, I'm not saying life insurance or anything. I'm actually trying to introduce some a little bit of confusion to get them to say, well, what are you calling about? Like, well, people call about final expenses or mortgage protection or maybe retirement planning. And I've actually opened up some annuity type cases by doing that with those things. So it's been it's been good practice because it doesn't cost very much. But now this week and last week I upgraded to their unlimited leads dialer, and that's been pretty good too because it just connects you to people who want to talk, which is they don't want to talk, but it connects you to people, so that's good.
Yeah.
But
Opportunities, right? Connects you to opportunities.
yeah, exactly. But I mean, it kind of leads into the next one, like shiny object syndrome prevents you from reaching mastery. I I love the shiny objects, man. Let me tell you, leads,
Yep.
scripts, training, markets,
Agencies,
agencies, like diary.
products.
It's
Oh, yeah.
crazy. You can spend all your time and I'll say comparison is the thief of joy. I loved what you said before when you're on Dana's show. Just pick one and stick with it. Figure out
Yeah.
if it works before you decide if you're going to change. But why everybody's looking for that silver bullet, you know?
Yeah.
You-
And you even said earlier when Ashton came, I think so many people reached out to him like, what are you doing? And what
Yeah,
like, 'cause, I mean, it was like, and granted, he has mastered his craft. He is so experienced. He's amazing at what he does. So he's put in the time and training and effort to get to where he is. But we still look for that silver bullet, like, what's he doing? And I want to do
yeah,
that tomorrow.
yeah.
Because, yeah, when you compare yourself, and it's easy to compare yourself when you're seeing sales being posted and you're having an off day or an off week, and you're like,
Mhm.
I just want to know what that person's doing. And
Yeah,
even like, Sydney, with Empower Life Group, like she rocks out with Scale My Social, right? So
yeah.
everyone's like, Oscar, give me her like exact algorithms and whatnot. And he's like, guys, like, trust me, I'm not giving her some secret code, like, but she's been with Scale My Social for almost a year now, and she's
Yeah,
worked with them, and they've been able to just really optimize her campaigns in so many ways. She didn't have shiny object syndrome. That's why she has what she has now.
yeah,
So but it's hard. It's really hard.
yeah. I find scripts to be my Achilles heel because Caden has written several scripts for the sniper team that for general life and for IUL and for final expense. And Dana's got her script. Last Team Mark has her script. Tori has a variation of Dana's script for vets. I think I have probably 12 or 14 scripts in my little library there, which is detrimental. I'm not for sure. But I mean, I had Dana and Caden on a couple of weeks ago, and we are just talking about the scripts, and there is no silver bullet there, but it does come down to the operator every time, who
Yeah.
the person executing the script.
We are the variable, right? Like we
Yeah,
are like the scripts, the leads, everyone gets, leads of varying kinds. Everyone has scripts, but like we are the variable in the industry. And it's like up to us to figure out how to tweak and build skills and whatnot to be successful. But all the things are here. And so
yeah,
many people are doing it so well. So we're really the people that need to prove to ourselves that we can do this and we can figure it out and we don't need a million different things to do it.
yeah. you ever gotten caught in the training cyclone where you're overtraining, you're going to
Oh,
the daily trainings and you're watching videos and you're doing cadence school trainings and you're you,
if I could be a forever student, Corey, that would be my career. If I could just
I
learn for, if I could go to college forever and just learn, I love learning. So
yeah,
I could do that full time
you know,
easily. And I
I
have done that.
I love training. I love learning. I have two master's degrees, so clearly I like being in the classroom. So no, it's but even markets are somewhat of a silver or shiny object, right? Like we do final expense for the most part. Ashton comes in, he's doing mortgage protection. Thal does annuities and he drops a $25,000 commission case. Like, well, I should do that. And it just you're pretty soon you're all over the board and it's so easy to lose focus. So I guess the biggest takeaway from that is pick one lane, stay to it, avoid the distractions because they will come daily and just figure out where you're going right or wrong before you adjust it.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
I couldn't have said it better. Spot on.
um, one thing I wish that I had known before kind of coming into this is that, tracking your numbers and things like that, but profit does not equal cash flow. So you can buy leads with cash flow. You cannot buy leads with months 9, 10, or 10, 11, 12 commissions that are on your accounts receivable side of your balance sheet, right? So understanding that just because you're profitable doesn't mean you have money to double your lead spend or hire a VA or, you know, have three different CRMs or whatever the case is. So it's, that's one thing I wanted to at least slip in there because I think a lot of agents are like, oh, I'm profitable. Why am I not making any money? And there's a big difference. You have all the expenses and all the ones that pop up. I don't know if do you have Ashley doing automations for you in the CRM, like the AI automation, AI bot?
I did. I actually turned her off, but I did for a little bit.
Yeah, I think I get like $150 or $200 a month and charges from that automation. I'm like, this is dumb. So your money will find a way to leave your pocket unless you're really focusing on managing your expenses and sticking to your strategy. So if you don't have a strategy, meet with your upline, get with that so you're not blowing money unnecessarily. So
Yeah,
yeah.
100%.
So you mentioned a book. I don't remember the book, but most people quit right before the magic happens. Was your next
Uh,
point on that?
3 Feet from Gold.
Three
That's the
feet
book.
from gold.
Three
Okay.
Feet from Gold. Can find it on Amazon, of course. Highly recommend it. It's a very quick and easy read.
Mhm.
And what I love about it is it follows an actual like case study of somebody. Like the author is talking about this individual that he had mentored that was, you know, a typical like zero to hero type of story, but like he was just like facing bankruptcy, had no money, was getting divorced. All the life things were happening to him at the same time. And he was trying so hard to have this new venture work. And he was kind of getting to the point where he's like, oh, forget about it. I'm just going to go get a job and do these other things, and it's not going to work. And this mentor just really saw a lot in him. And throughout the book, you see the ups and downs because it's not like it's a linear, like, oh, yeah, you go from like having all these life things happen to now you're up here, right? Like it was like this and then back down and then like this, just like real life is for people. But what it really highlights is if you can stick with something, if you can grow yourself and not try to hide away from all of those underdeveloped areas that get exposed along the way, and just stay focused on showing up to your schedule every day, doing the activity, and not quitting, you will find the gold. And you are
Yeah.
usually this far away from it, and you don't know it. And there's
Yeah.
that, it's really based, the 3 feet from gold is based off of that coal miner story where they
Yeah.
literally were 3 feet away from gold and they stopped. And then some big company came in and in like one day they found the gold after
Yeah.
years of those coal miners trying to find it. Um, so it's a really good book for people that are feeling like they're putting in a lot of effort and a lot of work and not really seeing the results. I
Yeah.
highly recommend it. I've read it a few times, honestly. It's one of those books that you find yourself picking up every now and again.
Yeah. I'll have to check that out because there's been lots of times, especially when you see somebody who's relatively new to the industry. Sydney's brother Nick is he's been in it longer than we have, or been here longer than we have, but he's writing 70, $80,000 a month. And you're like, what is going on? Why don't I quit? Because I'm not, I mean, I've been doing this for a long time and I'm not anywhere close to that. But does that play into it a little bit?
Oh,
When,
absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. It is. It's a great mindset book. It's a great it's also just a really great reminder that good things take time. And I think we're in a culture where it's like that Amazon Prime culture of like you
yeah,
want the thing the next day. And I mean,
yeah,
even for myself, if I order something online and it takes like a week, I'm like, what? A week? It's like, come on. Like
yeah,
that's
yeah,
fine, right? But it's like the Amazon culture, some people call it like the microwave culture that we're in, where we just want things so quickly.
yeah,
And a lot of it too, and this is mentioned in the book, is we are all on our own journey for a reason. We all have something we need to learn and develop, and it's all going to be different. So that's why our journeys look so different.
yeah,
We're not meant to have immediate 70K months, right out the gate. We have things we need to develop and learn so that when we get to that point, it's sustainable and it's not like a one-hit wonder and then we tank the next month,
yeah,
you know? So I think
yeah,
it is, but yeah, you got to check that comparison because it creeps up heavily. And
yeah.
that book is a really good way to just level set. I used to read it every night for like 20 to 30 minutes, and it was a great way to just unwind my day and be ready to go the next morning.
Okay. Yeah, I'll have to check that out. I had never heard it before. I heard you mention it. So I think if you had that carrot dangling in front of your mouth or your eyes, just, keep your vision on that carrot. So just keep going because
Yeah.
there are so many times that you want to quit. And I'm sure you've had the same things like, what am
Oh
I
yeah.
doing this for?
Yeah.
Why is this, why is this so hard? Why am I so bad at this? And yeah, I keep going back to this saying prior Hovis on our team said to me about a month ago. He's like, "It's not a get rich quick scheme. It's a get rich for sure scheme. You just got to keep going." And I love that because, yeah, if you stay in it long enough, things will happen. It's just
Yeah.
a matter of time. But um, so the last one you had on your list was use the industry to drive you toward what you really want in life. So what do you mean by that? What do you want in life? How are you using this industry to achieve that?
Yeah, so it's funny. Like I said in the beginning, I would have never predicted I'd be in life insurance sales. Like
Yeah, no,
never in a million years would I think like, oh yeah, this is what I do now. And I'll be honest, when I started, I liked it, but I still wasn't like, oh, I love this. This is my passion. That
yeah,
came with time and came with skill development and getting to a point where I could enjoy the conversations because I knew what I was actually talking about and what I was doing.
yeah,
But even still, like, there's so many things about this industry and especially about Lasting Mark and Empower Life Group that I love outside of the life insurance sales aspect. Like,
mhm,
I love the fact that we are in a community of like-minded people. You
yeah,
can't find that in a 9 to 5 job. In a 9 to 5, you find people that hate their job, can't wait to retire, are only here for a short period to then do whatever they really want to do. Like, you have all those mixed, like, not really growth mindset focused individuals, but here, like, we're all entrepreneurs. We all have big goals, and to feed off of each other, it's incredible, and I
yeah,
love that. I also love being able to build an agency and help and mentor people. I was a manager in my last role. I loved managing and leading people and helping them tap into their potential and help them grow and reach their goals. This offers that. Um, and this opportunity is so unique. It's unlike anything I had ever seen before, where when you build an agency like Dana and like even like Mike and Jalen, over at True Wealth, you are creating such an incredible life for yourself and your family. And whether that looks like you having a team like Dana, where, she trains us and she's here for us, but she also, gets to work on other projects to continue supporting us and the growth of our agency. And it's all transforming and evolving. And I mean, it's already incredible what she's done, but in 5 years, I can't even imagine what this is going to be for her, right?
yeah,
Um, it's limitless. And there's so few opportunities out there that I find to be limitless like this and to be the opportunity that this is. So, you know, it offers so much more than just selling life insurance. Again, that's just like a byproduct of the greater opportunity at hand. The people you get to meet, the schedule that you get to create for yourself, like going to the gym at 1 in the afternoon because it's not a great dial time. Get to do
Yeah.
that, right?
Yeah.
Uh, Growing people, developing people, building an agency. All those things come with this opportunity. And yeah, we do sell life insurance, but that's like one piece of the greater pie.
Yeah. Yeah. Nobody really like life insurance wasn't at career day at school. There was nobody there saying you should sell life insurance. And nobody ever woke up saying, I want to sell life insurance. But you do grow to love it after a time and having the conversations and seeing the impact that it makes on people. It's incredible. And I love when you brought in what Dana's done in her first year and change. In 14 months, he got her first $1 million month in life insurance production. That could be us in 2 years, just because of where we're at and what we're doing and who we're around, because the model's been proven. Recruit people, do it really well, train them really well, plug them into systems. There's no reason we can't be at $1 million a month ourselves in a year and a half or 2 years.
Yeah.
So
And that's where too, it's like, even when I mentioned before, like we are the variable, so many people like to be like, oh, but like I'm not going to be like Dana or Roger or, Jalen or any of those like really top agency builders and owners. But it's like, why not?
yeah,
It literally, if not just if anyone can do it, but multiple people have done this, we are the variable. It's just
yeah,
up to us to do the things that
yeah,
they're guiding us to do and follow the blueprint, the roadmap, whatever you want to call it to get there. We're the only ones that are going to make it not happen for us.
yeah. If you just stick with it and keep working on yourself, it will happen.
Yeah,
You just have to take time. Some people want to just keep stay as a producer, and that's totally fine.
yeah,
I'd love to be
totally.
able to I'd love to be able to do what Dana's doing, and you take a week off to do an actual vacation, and you're still making money. That's
Yeah.
kind of the end goal for me. What is your kind of end goal? You're wanting to build a team? Do you have any people on your team yet now? Or
I have one individual who she just started recently this spring, so she's getting going. But yeah, I agree with you, Corey. I want to build something big too, because yes, I want to take the vacations. I want to eventually step away from daily activity that we do right now.
Mhm.
But I also think what we're doing now is what sets us up to be really good
Yeah,
agency owners and mentors because you have to do the work in order
yep,
to mentor the people that are going to do the work, right? You have to struggle, you have to get the objections, you have to have the hard seasons to be able to mentor your people that are going to go through the same things. But yeah, I want to be able to do that. I want to be able to again I love people and I loved being a people leader. I can't wait to just be able to help people be successful at this and to see the opportunity for what it is and make it whatever they want it to be. Like you said, you don't have to build. You can just rock out sales every week
yeah,
and love your life doing that. Even with inbound leads now and inbound calls, you might not even have to dial most of the day. You could pick 4 hours, and if you get good at inbounds, you can knock out a couple sales and call it a day, right?
yeah,
You really get to make this what you want. You just have to first identify what that is and
yeah,
then tell your mentor, tell your upline, and come up with a plan with them on how you can get there
yeah.
and follow it.
It's amazing. So mentioning that Dana took a week off, and then we were still making money for her. She was still making money. She didn't disconnect. She still stayed
Yeah.
on. She was still doing training. She wasn't working the whole time, but she didn't just leave us high and dry. She was still doing the daily meetings and stuff. So when you think about work-life balance, do you look at it more like interweaving this with your life so it's balanced, or do you look at more like time on versus time off type of work-life balance? How do you look at that?
I look at it as weaving it and like what you had first said. I really like that example too, Corey, because I think that when you love what you do, you don't need so many hard vacations of like, don't contact me, don't slack me, right? Like
Right.
and here's the thing, I do think having that time is important. I do think you need to unplug
Yeah.
sometimes. If you have a big trip and you're like, you know what, I haven't done this in a while, guys, like I'm out of here, see you in a week, like that's perfectly fine.
Yeah.
But if you feel the need to do that really often, you might want to reassess if this is the right thing for you. If you really love doing this, because The last thing I want is to build a career and a life that I continue to need to escape from, like I did my 9 to 5. I
Yeah,
was always looking for the vacation at my 9 to 5, putting up my away message, shutting off my work phone, and then being so stressed going back. I don't want to recreate that in the entrepreneurial space. Like, what's the point? I might as well go get a job again.
it's
I
very
want to
much
be
what
in
it is.
something where it's like I can be on vacation. Maybe I check in the mornings and, I have some boundaries, but I'm not fully unplugged. And then I unplug the times that are really important to me.
Yeah.
But like back in my old IMO, one of the leaders said something and I was like, that's it right there. She was like, I rarely know what day of the week it is because and she was like a Dana, right? She's high up. She had a massive agency. She worked hard to get there also like
Yeah.
Dana has.
Yeah.
But she's like Sundays, Mondays, Tuesdays, she's like, I get people reach out to me, like my direct downlines that I have. I respond to them. I spend time with my kids. I run my errands. She goes, every day is just a day. There's no more
Yeah.
weekends and I'm like, man, that's
Yeah.
pretty cool.
Yeah. I've ran other businesses in the past, and that's what it turns into, where you're always available, but you're not always committed to it. So you can really make it what it is and work it into your life, and it's so powerful because you can really shape your life how you want it. It's fantastic.
Yeah, yeah.
So, one last question for you, Rochelle. If people want to buy a policy from you or work with you, how can they find you?
Yeah, so I am on Facebook. If you just look my name, Richelle Jessey, you'll find me there. On Instagram, I am Inside Insurance with Richelle is my hashtag. Feel free to add me, shoot me a DM, or Richelle at jesselifeagency.com too. That's my email. So any which way that is easiest for anyone listening, I'm happy to help and would love to talk, whether it's about insurance policies or the industry.
Awesome. Well, that wraps it up for the show this week. Thanks for listening to the Dialing for Dollars podcast. If you enjoyed the show, like, subscribe, and share it with another agent who's still dialing leads at 8 p.m. Have a good one.